Hi class, and welcome to week 6 of HSA 6152. So this week we are talking about the individual rights in healthcare and public health. So in this chapter we'll be covering what the no duty principle, what it means and the importance of it. And remember, when we're talking about the no duty principle, we're really talking about the idea that obtaining a license to practice medicine doesn't obligate an individual to actually practice or to practice in a particular fashion or with a particular clientele. The licensure requirement exists instead to really filter out those individuals who may not have the requisite knowledge or skills to practice medicine. Okay, and in this chapter, the topic of how, another topic that's covered is how the U.S. approaches the topic of health rights and how that differs from other high-income countries. We will also be covering the types and limitations of individual legal rights that are associated to health care, as well as balancing the approach taken when weighing individual rights against those that are public health rights. Okay, so that kind of gives you an idea of what is covered in this chapter. And you also have your health policy paper that's due. Now, I do want to remind you, it is due on Sunday. You do need to have a title page, table of contents, and reference list. Your references and in-text citations do need to follow an APA format. I strongly suggest for you to take the time to look at the sample paper found in the assigned course projects page in the student resource module for this course. This way you get a clear idea of the format that I expect to see. All right, so let me scroll a little further down. Here are some of the learning objectives for this week. And then next we have our PowerPoint. So here's the PowerPoint presentation that goes along with Chapter 6. And here in this image, it shows you the requirements for the EMTALA Act, which is really the acronym for Emergency Medical Treatment and Active Labor Act, or it's also known as the Patient Anti-Dumping Statute. And it was enacted by Congress in 1986, and it really represents the only truly universal legal right to health care in this country. And the essence of this act is to prevent turning away of poor uninsured people in need of hospital care. So that kind of gives you the gist of it. Of course, you'll be reading about it more in more detail in the chapter, and as well as here. Okay, so next is the video lecture for this chapter. You also have the submission link for your health policy paper in this week's module. And last, I'm going to jump to the weekly checklist for this week. Here's the weekly checklist. Make sure to read the chapter and review the chapter PowerPoints as well as the video lecture. I didn't include any videos for this week that go along with the chapter, but make sure to submit your health policy paper through the submission link found in this week's module. It will be submitted into Turnitin. And I look forward to reading your papers. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know. Take care. Bye.